Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 12 of the Callous Mind Live Cast. I do a live cast episode every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time or 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This week we will be can't even speak, and that's what I'm here for. This week, we'll be discussing my game picks, my game pick results from NFL Week 11, and making picks for NFL Week 12. I will also be reviewing other interesting sports stories since my last live cast from last Tuesday. You will notice that the screen name is on the video right now, at Callous Mind Guy. And you can find me at that address on either Facebook or Twitter. Actually, preferably Facebook, because I do occasionally go out there and post on the Facebook page of other interesting videos or information I find kind of throughout the week as well. So I want to begin this week by wishing everyone a very happy and blessed Thanksgiving. I know it's not until Thursday, and today's only Tuesday, but it's never too early to wish people well. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays, in part because it's usually on or around my birthday, and because I think giving thanks and expressing gratitude is valuable to the human experience. As humans, we have a tendency of focusing too much on what's wrong with our lives instead of giving thanks and expressing gratitude for what is right with our lives. If you are a new viewer who is watching live, please feel free to participate in the show by using the live chat. I will review the live chat comments periodically throughout the show and or at the end of the show. Please keep your live chat comments family friendly. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share these videos. Your viewership and participation is greatly appreciated. And let me just get over here to my timestamp example that I wanted to show. As always, I will leave timestamps in the description box for those impatient souls that may be watching the replay. Those beautiful viewers watching the replay are welcome to comment below the video. I request you also keep your comments family friendly as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the Week 11 pick results, which are just incredibly ugly. I cannot believe how ugly these picks are, but you know what? It's the nature of the National Football League. So make sure I'm broadcasting what I want to broadcast, and I am. So now that we've done that check, let's get started. So, NFL Week 11 pick results, 7 wins and 7 losses. Ew, yikes, man. That is just gross. 500, really. Well, it started for, my losses started accumulating again on Thursday night as I picked the Cardinals. And, that was actually a pretty good game, but the Cardinals just didn't come out on the winning side of it. So the Cardinals lose to the Seahawks 28-21, and I also lose that pick. Eagles and Browns to start Sunday off was a win for me, as I chose Cleveland, which is pretty easy to do when you're picking against the NFC East, but we're going to get back to the topic of that NFC East because things are kind of getting interesting for such a crap division. It looks like it's going to be pretty interesting. Next game up was the Falcons and Saints. I chose the Saints, and they did win. I did not realize in that game, though, that Drew Brees was not going to be playing. So that may impact my picks going forward, but this week I did pick the Saints, and they did win, so that was a W for me. Washington football team and Cincinnati Bengals. That is I got the win in that because I did pick the Washington football team. However, Cincinnati, they lost that game, but more importantly, they lost Joe Burrow for the rest of this year and probably on into next season with multiple torn ligaments in his knee. So that is not good news for Bengals fans, and it is probably not the best news for the Bengals being competitive going forward. So, because some of you, if you've been watching this live show, then you know that I've picked the Bengals at least a couple of times this season, and they won for me. And now, with Joe Burrow gone, I'm not sure that they're going to have that same fire or not, but we'll see. But anyway, that was a win for me because I did pick the Washington football team. Next game, Lions and Panthers. I had picked the Carolina Panthers, and they won. They shut out the Detroit Lions 20-0. Steelers and Jaguars. I had said last week that I thought this could be a trap game for the Steelers, and they went out and they played like it, and they played like they knew that it could be a trap game for them as well. So they played well, and they won. And I also won because I had picked the Steelers. Tennessee Titans and Baltimore Ravens. I had chose the Ravens at home, and what you know, Tennessee went in there and beat them in Baltimore, a lot like last year's playoffs. And so here we go. That was another loss for me. Baltimore Ravens get an L on the field and an L for me because I chose them. The Patriots, good Lord Almighty, how the mighty have fallen. I had picked the New England Patriots to beat the Texans, and what you know, the Texans turn around and beat them, and that is just hideous garbage. So the Patriots are another one of those teams that you just don't know what you're going to get from them week to week. So that was another loss for me, and I picked the Dolphins because I'd actually started drinking the Kool-Aid. I had picked the Dolphins over the Broncos. I thought that there'd be no reason why Miami couldn't go into Denver and win, but when you know it, they went to Denver and they lost. So that was another L for me. And then Jets and Chargers. That game is probably closer than any of us would have thought, but the Jets are still playing ball. They're not winning games, but they're still playing. It's nice to see that they're competitive and that they've not given up. But I did pick the LA Chargers in that game, so that was another win for me. And then the Packers and Colts. I had picked the Colts, and I won that by the skin of my teeth, as the saying goes. And so not much to say there. That was a good game, a good hard-fought game, and but the Colts got the win, so that was a big win for them. Then the Cowboys and Vikings. What you know, Minnesota had been on a bit of a roll, and then they lose at home, really, to Andy Dalton and the Cowboys. Well, I mean, I guess what I've always heard is the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while, and I think that was the sun shining on the Cowboys this past weekend as they beat Minnesota in Minnesota. So kudos to them, kudos to Andy Dalton, and I don't like to see it because I picked against the Cowboys, but on the other hand, I don't mind seeing it because it makes things interesting. So, and then Sunday Night Football between my beloved Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Chiefs came into Las Vegas and outcooked the hotels and restaurants and beat the Raiders. So that was a dagger. The Raiders played them solid, played them proud, but didn't get the win. And so that was another loss for me. And then Monday Night Football. Once again, I'm drinking the Tom Brady Tampa Bay Buccaneer Kool-Aid. I picked them to win on Monday Night Football against the Rams, and they couldn't do it. So that was another loss for me. So what a terrible, terrible week. Again, 7 wins and 7 losses. Gee whiz, man. It's friggin' ridiculous, A couple games go this way or that way, and I got 2 or 3 more wins, and my stats look a lot better, but that's just not reality, man. So that, it is what it is, and that's all that it is. So, all right. So let me get over here to my Week 12 picks real quick. Let's see here. All right, so NFL Week 12. Let's see, why does that say Week 11? That was Week 11 there. Oh, it's because I didn't open the file on this computer. Bear with me 1 second here. Well, while I'm doing that, I'll just go ahead and transition to another screen, and bear with me 1 second while I open that file. Once again, you guys can see that I'm so prepared, huh? Trying to be, but apparently there's just still things that I forget, so. Alright, here we go. Alright, so we'll try this again. NFL Week 12 picks for Thursday, November 26th. Houston at Detroit. I have taken Houston. Maybe they will retain some of their momentum and carry it forward into Detroit and get a Thanksgiving Day win. Washington at Dallas. This game has become increasingly important. Won this past weekend, and neither team is really out of it. This reminds me of old school Washington Redskin and Dallas Cowboy football. But I will take Washington on the road at Dallas because despite their win in Minnesota, I still don't have a lot of faith and trust in Dallas. So I will take Washington on the road at Dallas. Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Baltimore started off the season on fire. They're seemingly kind of waning a bit, and I don't really trust them to be the first team to lay a defeat on the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I will take Pittsburgh at home against the Baltimore Ravens. Las Vegas Raiders at Atlanta Falcons. That's a no-brainer for me. I will take my beloved Raiders over the Falcons. Los Angeles Chargers at Buffalo Bills. Uh, it typically doesn't work well when a West Coast team goes to a cold East Coast team's place to play. And Buffalo this time of year theoretically has a great home field advantage for the Bills. So I will undoubtedly take the Buffalo Bills over the Los Angeles Chargers. New York Giants at Cincinnati Bengals. Once again, now that Joe Burrow is gone for the rest of the year for Cincinnati, I probably won't be picking them, unless of course they play the Jets or Jacksonville or something. But in this game, I'm taking the New York Giants on the road at Cincinnati. Tennessee at Indianapolis. This is a key battle in the AFC South right here, and this probably for most intents and purposes is for the division at this point. So I will take Indianapolis to win at home against the Tennessee Titans. Carolina at Minnesota. I will take Minnesota to rebound at home against the Carolina Panthers. Arizona Cardinals at New England Patriots. It'd be just my luck that I pick Arizona in this game and then New England decides to play well and beats Arizona. But I am, in fact, going to take the Arizona Cardinals at the New England Patriots. Miami at New York Jets. I think Miami will recover and they will win in New York against the Jets. So I will take Miami on the road against the New York Jets. Cleveland at Jacksonville. Cleveland's still fighting for a playoff spot, so they got to keep winning. And with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and pick them to go to Jacksonville and win. So I will take Cleveland on the road at Jacksonville. New Orleans at Denver. after this past weekend, this game just got a lot more interesting to me. It's I'm kind of reluctant to pick New Orleans, a dome team, to go on the road to a cold environment and win. And if I lose this pick, then I will, probably want to kick myself in the ass next week because I just said why I should probably pick the Broncos, but I'm still not 100% certain I can trust them. So I will take the New Orleans Saints on the road at the Denver Broncos. San Francisco 49ers at Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams are proving that maybe they really are the team to beat in the NFC West. Although they still have to play the Cardinals twice, and those should probably be interesting games. But in this matchup, I will take the Los Angeles Rams at home against the San Francisco 49ers. Kansas City at Tampa Bay. Tampa's been hot and cold. They've essentially been a Katy Perry song, and I don't know what in the world is going to happen in this game right here. In Kansas City, they have a tendency of playing up or down to their competition, or just kind of yawning their way through it, if you will, because they're so ridiculously talented that that's kind of what they do. But I will take Kansas City on the road at Tampa, and then Chicago at Green Bay. Green Bay just suffered that bad loss last weekend against Indianapolis in Indy, and Chicago's coming off of a bye. I don't know what the hell is going on with Chicago's offense, and if you ask Adam, he's always talking about let a Roomba run their offense, so he's not he doesn't display a lot of belief in Chicago either. So I will take the Green Bay Packers at home against the Chicago Bears. And then finally on Monday, November 30th, Monday Night Football has Seattle at Philadelphia, and Philadelphia has just been so weird. They're so up and down this year as well. And I certainly cannot trust them to play a team like Seattle. I think Seattle goes in there and gets the win pretty handily. So I will take Seattle on the road at Philadelphia for Monday Night Football on Monday, November 30th, 2020. All right. All right, now there's several stories I want to get into this week. Just bear with me 1 second here while I get a drink first. This first story comes from college basketball, and it is Wichita State men's basketball coach Greg Marshall resigns after abuse investigation. This is from November 17th. Wichita State basketball coach Greg Marshall has resigned following an internal investigation into allegations of physical and verbal abuse, the school announced Tuesday. The school and Marshall agreed to a contract settlement of $7.75 million to be paid over the next 6 years. I have a question about stuff like this, which I'll get to at the end of when I'm done reading this here. This was a difficult decision, but one I feel was necessary for my family, the university, and most importantly, the student athletes, Marshall said. I remain grateful for my years spent at Wichita State. I wish to thank the coaches, student athletes, the university, the community, and all of Shocker Nation. Boy, when I hear that word shocker, it makes me think of something drastically different than a basketball team. For their unending dedication, support, and loyalty, I'm incredibly proud of the men's basketball program and all it has achieved over the past 14 years, and I'm confident of its continued success. Okay, now my question about this is, it seems to me like these guys have they do clearly have a contract. And I would think that a contract would mean that if you resign or get dismissed over allegations of physical and verbal abuse, how is it that you still end up making $7.75 million over the next 6 years? I don't know about you, but sitting at home on my ass for 6 years and collecting $1.1 million plus per year for those 6 years that I'm sitting at home on my dead ass sounds like a pretty damn good deal. But it seems to me like this is something that should be taken to court, because you don't get the opportunity to resign and still be paid. This seems like the most ridiculous thing to me, and this is why, one of the reasons college tuitions are so ridiculously expensive is because of stupid shit like this. Now, you guys can agree with me or disagree with me, but I'm telling you, that just seems utterly ridiculous to me, and you can let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Alright, so next story up. New York Mets Robinson Cano banned for 2021 Major League Baseball season because of PEDs. Before I read this story, I just want to say that I was a big baseball fan during the steroid era, okay? And I want to say also that without the steroid era, I don't think that Major League Baseball contracts would be nearly as valuable as they are. So as much as, baseball may now, suspend people or ban people because of performance enhancing drugs, the reality is that PEDs put a lot of money in players and in Major League Baseball's pocket, period. Alright, so on with the story. Let me step down off my high horse and read this story here. New York Mets second baseman Robinson Cano tested positive for the performance-enhancing drug stanozolol and will be suspended for the entire 2021 season, according to the statement Wednesday by Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred. It is the second PED suspension for Cano, 38, who missed 80 games in 2018 after testing positive for a diuretic while with the Seattle Mariners. We were extremely disappointed to be informed after Robinson's suspension for violating Major League Baseball's Joint Drug Prevention and Treatment Program, Mets President Sandy Alderson said in a statement. The violation is very unfortunate for him, the organization, our fans, and the sport. The Mets fully support Major League Baseball's efforts toward eliminating performance-enhancing substances from the game. There was no immediate comment from Cano or the Players Union. A second positive test results in an automatic 162-game suspension, according to the joint drug agreement between Major League Baseball and the Major League Baseball Players Association. Cano will forfeit his $24 million salary. Boy, that hurts, man. It says Cano was traded to the Mets in a now fateful December 2018 deal that sent top prospect Jared Kelenic to the Mariners. After struggling in his first season with the team, he rebounded to hit .316, .352, and .544 this season. Was expected to play a significant role as the Mets play their first season under new owner Steve Cohen and new front office management. Cano, who previously signed a 10-year, $240 million deal with the Mariners, has an additional $48 million remaining on his contract for 2022 and 2023. The Mariners will pay down $7.5 million of that. So, there we go, man. PEDs making money for players and Major League Baseball. Looks like it may be passing, but it still haunts the halls of the game for sure. All right. This is, I thought this was a very interesting football related story here. Show me the money. Cardinals DeAndre Hopkins, Seahawks Bobby Wagner become their own agents. This is a very, 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 very cool story. This from November 19th, 2020. Bobby Wagner sat inside a hotel conference room at the NFL's 2012 Rookie Symposium and listened to one horror story after another. The league's annual onboarding program for first year players was still centrally located at the time, so Wagner and a few hundred of his fellow draft picks gathered in Aurora, Ohio for a 4-day orientation that went heavy on the pitfalls of being young, recognizable, and suddenly wealthy. The warnings weren't subtle. The gist of the weekend, Wagner recalled in a conversation with ESPN, was don't trust your agent, don't trust your family, they're going to steal money from you. Don't trust your financial advisor, watch out for women, they're going to take all your money. So basically, go into the league knowing that you can't trust nobody. Truth, man, truth. After hearing an estimate that 80% of NFL players end up broke once they're retired, Wagner left the event knowing that he'd have to figure out how to be on the right side of that statistic. That sparked an interest in the financial side of football and in business in general, which took the Seattle Seahawks linebacker down a path that eventually led to his decision to join a handful of NFL players who serve as their own agents. Two of Wagner's former Seahawks teammates, Richard Sherman and Russell Okung, did it before him. High-profile players who have done it since include Lamar Jackson, Laramie Tunsil, Jacoby Brissett, and DeAndre Hopkins, whose Arizona Cardinals face Wagner's Seahawks on Thursday night. That was last Thursday night at CenturyLink Field, which I don't believe it's called CenturyLink Field anymore. I think it was called something else. Wagner received a 3-year, $54 million extension in 2019, which includes $40.25 million in guarantees. Hopkins got a 2-year, $54.5 million extension in 2020, which includes $49.4 million in guarantees. Wagner and Hopkins detail their experiences below. And really, I'm not going to read the rest of this. There is one snippet, though, that I wanted to read for you guys in here. I just have to find it. Oh, it was, that's right, I'd copied it into my other sheet over here. Right here. At the end of the day, we're all grown and we're mature individuals, he said. So if you haven't heard something that you don't like by 30, I would assume that your ears are closed. So it wasn't really that big of a deal to me. It wasn't really important. I felt like I was mature enough to be able to hear anything that they were going to have to say, positive or negative. And I felt that there was mutual respect on both ends. So no matter what was said, we were going to be able to get something done. So I just think that that's an incredibly great statement. At the end of the day, we're all grown and we're mature individuals. So if you don't, if you haven't heard something you don't like by 30, I would assume that your ears are closed. This is hysterical, especially in today's political climate where people just don't want to hear anything they don't want to hear, which is amusing and sad. Anyway, let's check on the next story. Oh man, this one right here just breaks my heart to even have to read this story, but it's interesting enough, but it's a sad one. So, Golden State Warriors Klay Thompson suffers season-ending Achilles tear. Man, that is brutal. From November 19th, Golden State Warriors star guard Klay Thompson has suffered a season-ending tear in his right Achilles tendon. The injury occurred during a workout Wednesday in Southern California, the team announced. He had an MRI on Thursday morning. Based on the type of tear, Thompson has been told to expect that he will make a full recovery, a source told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Thompson's agent, Greg Lawrence, told ESPN that his client is expected to be fully recovered for the start of the 21-22 season. Klay has a strength of will, but right now it's a tough day for him. Warriors general manager Bob Myers said it hurts. He'll get to a place, I think, where he's on the road, but right now, like you and I or anybody, this is a tough day for him to hear that news. It's hard, it's tough. Myers pointed to a call from an opposing coach that said Thompson is universally beloved in the league. How your peers feel about you in life, I think, says more than anything else, and I really believe that, Myers said. And I think that he is admired within, he's admired without, and you can't put words in what he means to our team, what he means to our fans and our coaching staff, and this is sad because Klay Thompson missed all this past season after tearing his ACL in Game 6 of the 2019 NBA Finals against the Toronto Raptors. So we thought we were going to get to see the Splash Brothers again this year, but apparently they're still going to be down one going into this season. So that's I'm not a big Golden State fan, but I am a fan of healthy athletes being able to do healthy athlete things. And to see Klay Thompson have to miss another season, 2 in a row, man, just that's a kick in the twig and the berry, son. So that's just no good. So speedy recovery to you, sir, Klay Thompson. All right, let me see what else I got here. Got some MMA stories that I wanted to touch on here. Yep, so Conor McGregor signs deal to fight Dustin Poirier on January 23rd. Conor McGregor's long-awaited return to the octagon is a done deal. McGregor has signed this bout agreement to fight Dustin Poirier in the main event at UFC 257 on January 23rd, McGregor told ESPN on Thursday. Poirier signed his bout agreement last week, which I had covered that in last week's live stream. ESPN previously reported the fight will be contested at 155 pounds. Sources said the location has yet to be finalized, though UFC President Dana White told ESPN's Brett Okamoto that week that it would take place on Fight Island in Abu Dhabi if everything goes according to plans. So, the story goes on. The booking means McGregor will return to action a little over a year after his last fight, a 42nd TKO win over Donald Cerrone on January 18th, 2020. So there's that. And then one more. UFC real or not? If Conor McGregor gets past Dustin Poirier, is KHABIB next? Oh my God, I hope not. Before I even read this story, I'm just going to say that, look, Conor McGregor was dominated by KHABIB in their fight, and that's just not really something that I'm interested in seeing again. I've said this stuff time and time again, but you put these guys who are great strikers and maybe okay on the ground in there against somebody who is just a monster on the ground, gets them down, wears them out, submits them. It's the same old song and dance. KHABIB needs to face somebody who is a high-quality ground guy as well. Who I'd really like to see KHABIB fight is Nate Diaz. But I don't think... I think that would be a weight conflict. I'm not 100% sure on that. But as far as somebody who's got a good ground game, Nate Diaz has got a good ground game. So that'd be a fun fight to watch. But let's see what the story says here. From November 19th, editor's note, this has been updated with Thursday's news that Conor McGregor has signed his bout agreement to face Dustin Poirier. Okay. UFC superstar Conor McGregor will return to the octagon and face Dustin Poirier. Yeah, we got that. McGregor wanted to fight 3 times in 2020, but the pandemic changed those plans. McGregor hasn't fought since his 42nd victory over Donald Cerrone. We got that. Since that time, he has retired on Twitter. said he is facing Manny Pacquiao in a boxing match and called out numerous other UFC fighters, including Nate Diaz and Khabib Nurmagomedov. All of the public negotiations resulted in McGregor seemingly getting what he wanted in a high-profile bout. Uh, I think this is an old story because they're still talking about lightweight title. However, in the state of uncertainty, Nurmagomedov said he retired after beating Justin Gaethje on October 24th. Weiss said Nurmagomedov will fight again. The UFC has long wanted to book a rematch between Nurmagomedov and McGregor. Will it finally get its chance? God, I hope not. I hope not. Just, you know, if you want to sell a false bill of goods, I guess go ahead and do that. But I'm not buying that pay-per-view. I would not buy that pay-per-view just for that fight because it's going to be the same old thing. And I can appreciate Khabib from a tactician standpoint, but it's not necessarily that compelling to watch. So part of me would want to watch it, but part of me would say no, no. Because I just don't think Conor McGregor's got what it takes to beat Khabib. I think if he did, he would do it, man. But he doesn't. He just doesn't not possess the skill that man does. You know, Khabib is undefeated for a reason, and that's just the way things are. So you could take it or leave it and believe what you want to, but that's how I feel about it. All right, let me go ahead and check. Okay, no comments. So, all right. Well, I guess I will go ahead and close down the show here. I do want to go ahead and thank everybody for watching. If you're somebody who's watched live and not commented, thank you for watching. I do sincerely appreciate it. If you are watching the replay, please leave me comments below. Let me know if you agree with me, disagree with me, hate me, I'm terrible, whatever. Let me know. And as always, I hope you guys will be good to yourselves and each other. And I will talk to you beautiful people next week. So until then, seriously, be good to yourselves and each other. Talk to you later. God bless.